Welcome to lesson 7B. And in the next preview assignment and in the next class, you'll need to be able to use ratios and percentages to analyze a budget. So let's jump right in here for our couples, expenses, and monthly cost. I want to point out the expenses and the monthly cost, but specifically, I want you to see that there is a total. Question 1 begins by saying, based on the amount of spending planned for each item, what are Amy and Camilla's most important household items? And you've heard before, we put our money where our mouth is, or whatever's important, we put money behind it. So mortgage and savings are their most important items. Question number 2, what percentage of the total budget is allocated to savings? So I want to come back to that word again, total. I like to write out words like it says, savings is what percentage of the total budget. I like words because then we can take the numbers and replace the words. We can do some division, multiplying by 100, and we're going to come out with that savings is 25% of the budget. Question 3 says, complete the following table that shows the percentages of the total budget allocated for each expense. I forgot to say, hit pause and start completing these questions before listening to the video. So now is a good time to hit pause, complete question 3, and probably question 4, and then come back and join me for the video. We already have savings calculated. Mortgage, if we're looking for what part of it or what percentage is it of the total, we can start writing our fractions, dividing, multiplying by 100, and we're going to get 20% is what the mortgage is. And we're already sitting at 45%. Almost half the budget is going for mortgage and savings. I'm going to keep going down the page. I've already multiplied or divided and then multiplied all of these by 100. So double check that you and I are matching. And I'll go ahead and do the note again that when you find mistakes, please email me or talk to me about it in class because I want to get these fixed or edited for next semester. When we add all of these percentages up, they should be 100% or really, really close depending on what all we did with our rounding. So a contextualized sentence interpreting the percentage value of 4 student loans, they can vary. You can write a million different ways, a million different things, but you get to decide what you point out, what you focus on. And since we've been talking about mortgage and savings, you can even put numbers together like I did and say 20% and 25, that's 45%, almost half of the expenses are spent on mortgage and savings alone. You write down a sentence that you like, hit pause, go ahead and do question 5, and I'll join you to work on that one with you. On question number 2, specifically on question number 2, I kept underlining, stressing the word total budget, out of the total budget. And if you look at this paragraph, it says we can also analyze resource allocation by comparing 2 different expense items and not necessarily to the total. We're going to be able to say stuff like spending savings to food is like a 2-to-1 ratio. When we're doing this, notice I'm not using the word total. On the questions we did earlier, they involved part of the budget as compared to the whole budget. Now we're going to be talking about part of the budget as compared to part of the budget. So in this first one, part A, compare the amount Amy and Camilla spend on savings. Remember, let's write some words. To the amount they spend on entertainment. Neither of these is a total. So savings is $1,000 and the amount spent on entertainment is $250. And so looking at these, you can write them several ways, but one good way to always write them is to take it down to a unit rate or at least reduce these as far down as you can, like 4 to 1. So on part A, can we compare it? Not can we, but the way we can compare them is that 4 times as much money is spent on savings as it is on entertainment. And sorry, but part B already did it. Amy and Camilla spend 4 times as much on savings as on entertainment. Part C, now let's look at car loans to insurance and a ratio. So let's see, car loans, $400, car loans, $400 to insurance. Insurance is $250. So this one's a little bit not as cute or pretty to take out numbers, but we could take out like 25 times something and 25 times something, and we could take out more. Let's take out 50. 50 times 8, 50 times 5, 8 to 5. That's the ratio of spending of car loans to. So now part D, it asks us to use the ratio from part C to complete the following sentence. Amy and Camilla spend blank times as much on car loans as on insurance. So I've grabbed my calculator, and on my calculator I've got 8 divided by 5, and I'm getting 1.6. So to answer question part D, Amy and Camilla spend 1.6 times as much on car loans as they do on insurance. So make sure you've hit pause and you've already answered question 6, and then come back and join me and we'll finish up this lesson. The lesson ends with question 6, that a part to whole ratio. And remember, I've asked you to have like a glossary, flashcards, something along those lines. This is a set of words that needs to go in that list of words. A ratio, this part to whole ratio is a comparison of the size of a part to the size of a whole. The other set of words to get in your glossary or Google Docs or something is a part to part ratio is a comparison of 2 parts of the common whole. So in part A, which question involved writing a sentence to interpret a part to whole? And that would have been question number 4. Because question number 4 said, since we were comparing the size of one expense to the total, and even that one says specifically, Amy and Camilla spend 4 times as much on savings. Nope, that's not the, no. Number 4, that they spend 8 7/75 of their total monthly earnings on student loans. And I don't think I answered that question. Question number 4, 8.75% student loans. I didn't read that one and I didn't answer that one. But that one is comparing student loans to the total. Part B, which question involved writing a sentence to interpret a part to part? And so looking at question number 5, pretty sure I answered that one. Both parts of those, like parts B and parts D, that was when we were saying 4 times as much on savings as on entertainment and 1.6 times as much on car loans as on insurance. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory when we're talking about part to whole and part to part. However, it would be good to get those in a glossary or flashcards or a Google Doc, and then to write down some specific examples like the student loans to the total or a part to a part like the loans to the insurance. This concludes our lesson 7B. Look at our syllabus and calendar to see if you have any more items that are due this week. And if not, get this one done, and I'll see you again next week or on the next lesson.